They say cats can see things humans can't. Things that exist just slightly out of phase with reality. Things that don't want to be seen. On the night this story begins, a single cat sat beneath a flickering street lamp, staring at a house that had been empty for 13 years. The cat did not blink. The house exhaled. The house stood at the end of a dead street, its windows boarded, its paint peeled like old skin. Neighbors avoided looking at it for too long. Some claimed the house changed when you weren't watching. The cat had been there before. Every night at exactly 2:17 a.m. it arrived. Every night it stared at the front door. Every night something inside the house moved closer to the surface. The cat's tail twitched once. Inside the walls, something noticed. When the new owner moved in, no one warned him. The paperwork had been processed too quickly, the sale approved too easily, almost as if the house had been waiting. The first thing he noticed was the smell: damp wood, old metal, and something faintly organic, like breath trapped too long. The second thing he noticed was the cat. It sat inside the living room, watching him unpack. The cat was completely black, absorbing light instead of reflecting it. Its eyes were pale and reflective, like glass marbles left at the bottom of a river. It didn't move. Not when he stepped closer, not when he clapped his hands, not when he shut the door behind himself. The man told himself the cat must have slipped in unnoticed. But cats don't usually sit like statues, and they don't usually stare like they're counting something. That night, the scratching began. Not from the floor, not from the ceiling, from inside the walls. Slow, methodical, intentional. The man lay in bed, listening as the sound traced the perimeter of the room, stopping occasionally, as if something were pressing its ear against the plaster. In the doorway, the cat sat upright, listening too. Over the next few days, the house changed. The walls felt warmer. The air felt heavier. Rooms seemed smaller than they had been before. The cat never left. It did not eat. It did not sleep. It did not make noise when it walked. Sometimes the man would find it sitting inches from the wall, nose nearly touching the surface, as if studying something on the other side. Sometimes the wall would pulse. Mirrors stopped working properly. The man noticed it first in the bathroom. His reflection lagged behind his movements, not by much, just enough to feel wrong. The cat did not appear at all. Instead, there was a dark smear in the glass, shaped vaguely like a hole. From inside the wall, something scratched faster, excited. The man researched the house. Old records spoke of disappearances, previous owners who left suddenly, one owner who stayed and was never found. There were no bodies, just damage to the walls, deep, irregular marks, as if something had tried to claw its way out, and something else had tried to claw its way in. The cat watched him read, patient. On the seventh night, the wall in the hallway split open, not violently, carefully. A seam appeared, widening like a mouth learning how to smile. Inside was darkness layered over darkness, and movement. The man couldn't look away. The cat positioned itself between him and the opening. Its fur bristled. This was the first time it showed fear. The thing inside the wall began to press outward. A shape formed, wrong angles, shifting depth, limbs that bent in directions they shouldn't. The air filled with a sound like breathing through wet fabric. The cat lowered itself, muscles coiled. This was not a predator facing prey. This was a guard facing a prisoner. The wall split wider. The thing inside reached through. And then, the cat screamed. Not a meow, not a hiss, a sound layered with voices, like many throats speaking at once. The house shook. The cat launched itself into the opening. The wall collapsed inward. Silence. The hallway was intact again. No cracks, no damage, no cat. The man stood alone, breathing hard, heart pounding. For the first time since moving in, the house felt empty. Too empty. That night he slept without dreams. Weeks later, the man moved out. The house was sold again. The paperwork processed too quickly. On the first night, the new owner heard scratching. At exactly 2:17 a.m., outside, beneath a flickering street lamp, a black cat appeared. It sat down and stared. Cats can see things humans can't. And sometimes, they aren't watching the monster. They're making sure it stays asleep.